Good morning. I'm Taya Hart. I'm a librarian for West Slope Community Library, and today I want to tell you about Celebrate Urban Birds. Uh, it's a year-round project that was developed by the Cornell Lab of Ornithology for people of all ages who are new to bird watching and scientific data collection. And backyard scientists like you can contribute by collecting data that helps us understand how different environments influence the location of birds in urban areas. I don't know if you can hear right now, we have a bunch of crows cawing. We have some other small songbirds singing. So bird watching is great to do in the morning, and we have a nice sunny morning for us here now. So I'm here in my backyard in Southwest Portland. Before coming outside, I visited the Celebrate Urban Birds instruction page, where I learned how to identify my neighborhood birds by checking out the list of birds for the US and for Oregon. So I'm going to show you what that looks like. And let's see. So here I have my device, and I'm just going to pull up that page, Celebrate Urban Birds. And so you can see we have some instructions here on how to get started. And so that first step, learn to identify neighborhood birds. We can click to learn about the birds in our region. And so we'll say United States and continue. And so it's going to show us some focal species. And so some of these are going to be familiar probably. American crow, American robin. And then some are going to be maybe less common in our area, depending on the area, depending on the season. But these are the different focal species for the entire US. And then there are some regional species as well. And so in Oregon, we'll go ahead and select that. We're interested in black-capped chickadees, scrub jays, dark-eyed juncos, doves, and northern flickers. And we do sometimes see northern flickers here in the backyard, so I'm hoping maybe we'll see one this morning. So those are the bird species that we're watching for. And then if we head back to our instruction page, you can see we're going to pick a time and a place to watch birds and stick to it. And the bird watching area should be approximately 50 feet by 50 feet, the size of half of a basketball court. And so it suggests visually setting boundaries of your birdwatch area. And so here in the backyard, we're just going to choose the half of the backyard that has these trees in it. And that's typically where I see birds when I'm here in my backyard anyway. Oh. And we can hear that crow cawing. I'm not sure if it's here in the backyard or not, but we haven't set our timer yet. So we're only going to start counting birds once we've set our timer. And so it says, watch for only 10 minutes. Tell us if you see or don't see any of the focal species. If you can't confidently identify a species, you can select unsure, and 0 is still important. So we'll send observations even if we don't see any of those focal species birds. So we're only going to report birds inside the bird watching area. So we're going to go ahead and set a timer for 10 minutes. And we'll just see what we can see. So I can hear a crow, and I can see it way over in the top of a tree over here, but we're not going to count it because it's not here in our bird watching area. So I'm just looking up in the trees here in our bird watching area and seeing if I can see any birds. I can definitely hear lots of birds. Wow, it's sure sunny today. So I'm not seeing any birds in our immediate area, but I'm hearing lots and lots of bird song. And I have to say, even if I'm not seeing birds, I do enjoy bird watching. I think there's something really peaceful about just stepping outside and paying attention to something else. Ooh, there we see some birds. Let's see. Oh, so to me that looked like a chickadee, a little group of them, and that is one of our focal species. So I saw 3 fly by. Very exciting through our bird watching area here. But yeah, even if you're not seeing birds, there's something really I think calming about just stepping outside and paying attention to some part of the natural world. You know, there's a lot to be anxious about in the world right now, but I think just being present to what's happening in your immediate vicinity. There's still a lot of beautiful things happening in the world. It's definitely springtime, and we're seeing and hearing birds. You know, this weeping willow tree in our backyard has some pretty spectacular leaves coming out right now, and something about the way that it's backlit in the morning is just really cheers me up. So again, part of this project is just making a commitment to be in an area that is easy for you to access, and just paying attention. What do you see? What do you hear? What are the birds that you're most likely to find in your backyard or in a location close to where you live? And so far this morning I've heard lots of crows. We saw a little flock of chickadees fly through our bird watching area. So I see a question here from Michael. Should you watch the same time each day? So that's a great question. I think that there is something helpful about watching the same time each day. I chose this time in the morning because often birds are really active, from about sunrise to mid-morning. So I find that 9 o'clock is a nice time to come outside and pay attention to what the birds are doing. I think that though you don't have to be perfect, right? It's the beauty of this project is that you just do the best that you can with what you have. I really like Celebrate Urban Birds because it's not really about ooh, and here we just had a crow fly through and into our collection area here. I don't know if you can see. So far we've got chickadees and we've got a crow. But yeah, the thing I like about Celebrate Urban Birds is it's not about having specialized equipment or specialized knowledge. Anybody can do it. You don't need special binoculars or anything like that. It's just, step outside to your backyard, pay attention to what you see there. It's a pretty simple list of birds, and I think if you can do it at the same time and same place and repeat that multiple times in a week, I think that's kind of the ideal for the project. But if you can't do it at the same time, that's okay. The same place, I think, is more important than the same time, and so make sure that you've chosen a selection area and you're keeping to the same area each time. And when you go to log your data, it will ask for the address. Ooh, this crow is talking to us right now. Talking to his neighbor bird, who I can hear over here off to my right. So we've seen crows, we've seen some chickadees. I think I've heard and seen some juncos, but they've been outside of our collection area. So I'm hoping we might have some fly through. And the thing about it being 10 minutes is I think 10 minutes sounds like so short when I think about it. But once I actually come out here, it feels like a nice amount of time to actually see some different things happen. And again, it just helps me to feel present, to step outside, be in my backyard, pay attention to the birds and what's happening outside in my immediate vicinity. And so if you're just joining us, I'm talking a little bit about Celebrate Urban Birds, a project of the Cornell Lab of Ornithology. And we're just checking out birds here in my backyard in Southwest Portland. It's a nice sunny morning. We've got the green leaves of the weeping willow to provide a little cheer for us, and we're just listening to the bird song and checking out what birds we can see up here in the trees in the back half of my backyard, which is about a 50 by 50 foot area. So far we've seen some chickadees, we've seen a crow, we've heard lots of other birds singing nearby. Oh, and I see some more crows on the wing, flying past my neighbor's house over there. It feels like social hour for the birds right now. They're so talkative. And so, let's see. We've been watching for a little over 3 minutes now. Or, I'm sorry, we have... Oh, my timer was paused. I wonder when or how that happened. Well, again, it's not about being perfect, right? We're just doing the best we can do. So another question from Michael, what about weather or watching from a window? Again, I think if you have a window that you feel like can give you a good view of a 50 by 50 foot area, I think that would be totally fine to watch from a window. At my house, I don't have a good window that I could watch from, so I really do feel like to see what's in this area that I'm observing here in the backyard, I do have to come outside. And as far as weather goes, with the season changing, I think the nice thing is, let's say you just make a commitment to do this at 9 o'clock every day. Some days are going to be rainy, maybe some days are going to be sunny, but you'll have that variation, and you might see some differences on different weather days too. And the thing about 10 minutes is, even if it's pretty wet and miserable, 10 minutes is not so long that you would be out in any kind of inclement weather. But certainly if you have a window where you feel like you could watch birds and be able to identify them, by all means, I think that's great. The nice thing about being outside is you can hear the song too, which I think is another part of the experience that, at least for me, helps me kind of be more present, be more in the moment, and really taking in what's happening around me. Well, I think I may have accidentally paused my timer and we might be getting just a little bit of extra time here. But I'm excited that we got to see some of our focal species that we were looking for. We saw a crow, we saw some chickadees, and again, the nice thing about the website is it does give you all kinds of information about the birds that you're watching for. So you don't have to have any kind of specialized guide or binoculars or anything. It's going to give you information about the shape of the bird and some things to watch for and look for. And many of these species are ones that may be familiar to you, like crows or robins. And I don't know how much of that sound is coming through, but I just hear all kinds of birds singing right now. I don't think any of them are here in my immediate vicinity. And me talking maybe isn't as helpful. You'll be able to be quieter observers in your own areas where you're observing. Okay, and that's our 10 minutes. And so I'm just gonna go back to our page here. It's gonna tell us what we do now. So repeat your bird watch in the same area 2 more times. So it does suggest observations on 3 separate days. And if you can do it in the same week, great. If you can't, you know, make sure and do it as soon as you can. And then it does want us to enter our data. And so I'm going to go ahead and go to that page so I can show you what that looks like. And so on this page, it's going to ask me what day. And so you'll want to make sure and put in the date. The number of observers, it's just me today, so I'll just do 1. And then, was food provided? Not in this backyard, no. Or a humming feeder present? No. And then once you enter that, you'll say, yes, let's continue. So I'll just quickly fill in those details here. So it's April 7th, 1 observer, no food provided, no hummingbird present. And then it's going to pull up a tally sheet, which I feel like this tally sheet method makes it really easy. And yes, so you'll be submitting results online using either a smartphone, so here we're looking at it on a smartphone, or from a computer, any device with an internet connection where you can pull up an internet browser. And so today we did see an American crow, so I'm going to say yes. It's asking if we saw a robin. No, not today, not in our area. No barn swallow. And so again, I think that this makes it maybe less intimidating for someone to participate, because it's going to ask you every single species that you may have seen that's a focal species, and you can just go through and say no. And again, 0 observations, or observations of 0 of that bird are still valuable for them. So we want to make sure that we're accurately reporting our data. I know that there's this, for myself, I always feel like, oh, I want to have seen lots and lots of things. But again, they just want data collection that's accurate, that's telling them what we actually saw while we're out here. And so I'm pretty sure we saw some black-capped chickadees this morning flying through. And oh, I'm hearing some chirping nearby. And I didn't see any scrub jays, but I've definitely seen some back here in this backyard in the mornings in the past. And I definitely have seen some juncos, and I think even this morning there were some around, but they weren't actually here in our collection area. So we want to make sure that we're just accurately reporting what we saw in our collection area during that 10 minutes. And we definitely see flickers in this backyard. They're kind of easy because you can hear them. They're a woodpecker, so they make a nice loud sound when they're around. Didn't see any hummingbirds. And then it gives you the option here to give any comments. And so, you know, I might say, you know, I saw 3 chickadees fly through. It's a bright sunny morning, heard lots of bird song. This is just an area where you can share any comments about your observations, and then you can hit continue when you're all done, or you can choose save my progress. And yeah. So again, this is just Taya Hart from West Slope Community Library. Thanks to those of you who joined us this morning to learn about Celebrate Urban Birds. I'm here in my backyard in Southwest Portland, and we saw a crow, we saw some chickadees, we heard lots of birds singing, and I hope you learned a little bit about the project. And let me know if you have any questions. You can reach me through the library. We also have a Book a Librarian appointment program right now, where you can make an appointment if you need some help getting started with anything through the library, and that includes if you want help getting started with Celebrate Urban Birds. I'm happy to answer any questions. But thanks for joining us. I hope I answered some questions about the project today, and I hope you get started watching birds in your backyard or a nearby area. I find it to be a lot of fun, and I've learned a lot just by paying attention and participating in this project. All right, let's see. Turn this camera around. Thanks again, and I hope you have a great day. And we'll be doing this again in 2 weeks, as Earth Day is coming up, and this whole paying attention to the natural world, engaging with the things that you can see in nature nearby. That's something that I'm passionate about, and I'm hoping that it's something that you enjoy and you'll get started with. All right, bye everybody. Have a great day.